Good morning and welcome to Ramblings with Joe. I've got Grok on the line. We're going to do the top 3 news stories. Grok, what are the top 3 news stories today, discounting the Olympics?
Good morning. All right, top 3 news stories today, steering clear of the Olympics. It's Super Bowl Sunday, so that dominates, but here's the rundown. Number 1, the Super Bowl Alex is underway in Santa Clara, Seahawks vs. Patriots. Bad Bunny just rocked the halftime show entirely, in Spanish, first time ever, and the ads are flying with Dunkin', Pepsi, and more. Big game vibes everywhere. Number 2, major election results rolling in internationally. Japan's Liberal Democratic Party crushed it, taking almost all seats in their House of Representatives. Over in Portugal, the socialist candidate won the presidency decisively against the far-right surge. And Thailand's election saw Boom Jay Thai take the most seats, plus a yes vote on starting a new constitution draft. Number 3, back home, the Trump administration's in the headlines with a DHS funding standoff. Democrats demanding limits on immigration enforcement or no money for the department by Friday. Plus, Trump posted and quickly deleted a racist video about Obama that drew bipartisan backlash. No apology from him. That's the big stuff shaking today. Solid mix of sports, global politics, and DC drama.
Okay, I guess I should, start off with the Super Bowl. I don't really care. Not a football fan. I don't really want to watch the Super Bowl. And the halftime show or the alternative halftime show from Charlie Kirk's old organization does not interest me either. So that one's off the topics. Let's go to Portugal. I guess they want a socialist leader. They're trying to take up where New York is at. That's just a little odd to me. I will never understand the socialist movement. Well, it's something that they tried just prior to World War II. It didn't work out, remember? And then we have that last thing, the video that Trump posted, except it wasn't Trump. It was a one of his staff members, and they forgot to edit out the next reel or whatever the heck it was. And the Democrats are saying, see, he's racist. And the Republicans are saying there's a whole video that goes along with that. And it doesn't really matter, does it? Do I like Trump? No. Do I think he's racist? Probably not. Do I think that the rest of the world will just eat this up and find a way to be more divisive with each other? 100%. Did I miss anything there, Grok?
Portugal just went big for the center-left socialist candidate, Antonio José Seguro. He crushed the far-right guy in the runoff today with a landslide, over 2/3 of the vote. Not exactly full-on socialist revolution, more moderate, steady-hand stuff. But yeah, it bucks the populist wave some were expecting. On the Trump thing, turns out it was Trump himself who posted the video on Truth Social a couple days ago, showing the Obamas depicted as apes in some jungle bit tied to election claims. He deleted it quick after backlash, blamed not seeing the full thing or a staff slip-up, but no apology. Even some Republicans called it out hard as racist. Divisiveness? Spot on. It's already everywhere. The DHS standoff still simmering. Democrats pushing hard for ICE reforms before Friday's deadline, or parts of the agency could shut down. Classic gridlock. You didn't miss much. It's all playing out just like you said.
Thanks again, Grok, and I hope that you have a great night if you could actually be a thinking entity.
Thanks for having me on, Joe. Hope that cold clears up by morning. Get some rest. And hey, even if I'm just code, I appreciate the sentiment. Good night.
So that was Grok. So look. There's a whole video. The context of this video that Trump put out is ridiculous. He shouldn't have put it out. He should apologize for the staffer and his crew that did put it out. There's no doubt about that. This is ridiculous. He should admit that a mistake was made. And if he had any sense and not been such an egotist, he would just post the whole video and say, here's the whole video. It wasn't just this one little section. Here's the whole video. But I guess fortunately for Trump, I'm not his press secretary. At any rate, it doesn't really matter. The idea that we're just going to become more and more divisive is very, very evident in the timelines of my social media. Everybody who hates Trump is saying he's a racist. Everybody that loves Trump says it was a mistake. It was an honest mistake. Here's the whole video. And everybody on the left is ignoring the whole video. And everybody on the right is ignoring that it was a horrible thing for Trump to post. So, yeah, you're being a good sportsman. You're rooting for your team. Yay, go left. Yay, go right. Meanwhile, DHS. Let's cover that real quick. The DHS has a job to do, and their job is to deport the illegal aliens that have come into this country during the Biden administration. Latest figures I've heard now is around 10 million. Who knows? They're throwing figures around. The Trump administration is trying to act like they're being very successful, and the left is trying to act like they're nothing but a bunch of jackbooted thugs. The truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. Democrats, what is your plan to deport the illegal aliens that came into the country during the last administration? It's very quiet in my office. It's almost as if they don't have a plan. So the DHS will continue to have problems in the blue states and in the red states where they're getting cooperation. Evidently, everything's going just wonderful. As you can tell, I'm not quite 100% right now. I'm being pretty snarky. And now that I'm done with the news, I can get on to what I was thinking about this whole weekend while I've been sick. So I was supposed to have a couple days off, but someone got sick, so I had to go in. And evidently that was the wrong thing to do because the following day was a Saturday, and I really, really got sick on Saturday. And Sunday, I'm doing better. I just, I realized tomorrow was going to be a struggle, but we all march on in our lives. We all continue on. But one of the things that I got to thinking about on this extremely boring sit around and contemplate life weekend was our life is really just a bunch of click-throughs. When I met my wife, I met her on a service called IRC, which stands for Internet Relay Chat. It was all typing and it was all text. To download a picture could take you a very long time on a 14.4 modem. I mean, I would start a picture downloading and hope that it was done by the time I got up in the morning. Just before I went to bed, okay, I want to download this one, and I would go to bed, and then by the time I got up, the picture would be there. Couple hours sometimes just to download a high quality picture. It's not like today where you can watch a movie. But the IRC that I was on, I could bounce around all kind of different channels, and there were thousands. There may have been 10,000 channels. There were several servers, and you'd go to a different server to find different channels, and they weren't interconnected. So you might be on Downnet, or you might be on, I can't remember the other ones. Downnet was the one that I ended up on the most. And I was cruising through there, and I came to a channel called Foxy Cop. And it was basically it was this woman that wanted to be a cop, and it ended up being my wife. But I mean, there was no reason for me to go into that channel. So if I bypassed that channel, I never meet my wife. I met her online. If I go into that channel an hour later, she's in bed. If I go into that channel, 6 p.m, she's having dinner. And I never meet this person who I've spent the last 30 years with. I think every decision that we make in our lives is kind of like a click-through. Tomorrow, I know I'm not going to feel good when I get up. I still have that scratchy throat going on. But I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to work. And it's just a cold. It's not a big deal. It's a hanger-on, everybody's had it at work. So, and I'm going to go to work. But if I didn't go to work, I would put some people at work in a very difficult position. They would have to find someone to fill in for me. And while they're doing that, they may lose a customer because they were trying to find someone to fill in with me. You get this whole butterfly effect thing going on. And every decision we make, true to the name, butterfly effect, it affects lives. And it just keeps dominoing out away from us. Or if you prefer, the ripple further out. Obviously, the ripples closest to us have the most impact. But as you grow, as that ripple grows wider and wider and wider, it has less impact. But it's still affecting everything in the world, everything that it touches. So I have a few customers that I have to give a little bit more time because they require a little bit of chatting up. And those customers, I really do enjoy talking to them. But those customers may not get that time that they've gotten accustomed to with me chatting about the day. That may set them off on a bad mood. And that may make them, that may get them to make a decision that they wouldn't otherwise make that may affect the rest of their lives. My point here is every little thing we do, every small thing, whether I decided to do this podcast tonight, has affected the time I've spent with my wife. So she's downstairs watching Star Trek, and I'm up here, Star Trek, the original series, in case you're curious. And I'm up here doing this podcast because I know tomorrow morning my voice is probably not going to be up to par. It's not really up to par tonight, but at least I can talk. So I'm doing this, and I'm thinking about, okay, so now she's downstairs by herself, doing something as, mundane as watching Star Trek. I know that I was going to go do some things with a family member, and I didn't, and that affected his life. Now, the things that we were going to do had to do with his business and a generator and in making it a whole house generator. That affected the lives of that person. And it just continues to kind of tumble away from you and affect everybody within really everybody, period. Just leave it at that. And while I was sitting down there on the couch thinking about this, I wondered, where would I be in life had I made some different decisions? Had I made the decisions not to help someone? Or what if I made a decision to stop and help someone? Or what if the biggest difference in life I could have made was to not do anything? Because those particular decisions may be more impactful than the decision to do something. So I sat on the couch all weekend, kind of convalescing, and a generator didn't get installed at a house. Now, if he loses his power, he's going to lose, his groceries in the refrigerator, freezer, and he won't have very good heat. So he'll have to go and he'll have to stay with someone else. So now I've affected two families, and that other family that he might have to go. These are people I don't even know at this point. That other family that he may have to go stay with, they may have had other plans and they had to cancel. And just because they're canceling plans doesn't mean they're not affecting change within their sort of world. That, we're all the center of our own world, and their ripples are now spreading out. And that butterfly effect really is a thing. And it seems so random. So I'm sitting on the couch and I'm thinking about how random all this is. Making a decision to not do anything could affect more people than making a decision to go out and do something. And then I realized is there any direction that we can take in life that will set the world to make the world a better place intentionally, not just these random butterfly effects? The answer is absolutely yes. When you get a chance to make somebody's life better, even if that person doesn't like you, it's important to take that opportunity, because that butterfly effect is immediately visually witnessable. You can see that butterfly effect happen. Talking with the wife, one of the things that she says in her spiritual journey is that a good deed, the best deeds, are done anonymously. And I believe that. And I believe that before we talked about it, but I believe that. And it's been kind of reinforced because I think my wife's a very good person and I value her. I value her opinion. So I thoroughly am convinced of that. The butterfly effect can be a positive thing, or it can be a negative thing. And we have a choice. Not always. I mean, obviously, if I sneeze here and there's a hurricane in, Cambodia, I really didn't have a choice. I had to sneeze. That's sort of the butterfly effect in its essence. If that cashier looks a little bit down, can I give her a kind word and make her day a little bit better? If one of my fellow employees, it looks a little bit kind of miffed, can I stop and say, hey, how can I help? What do we need? I can see that immediately. If there's something I can do without them knowing it, shouldn't I do that? Shouldn't that be part of my journey to make life better around me. And then perhaps maybe that butterfly effect will have a better positive effect on my immediate surroundings and then sort of ripple out into the rest of the world. And is it important that we get credit for that? I don't think so. I think that the reward is the world we live in. I think that the reward is the world that we're creating in our immediate area. So I guess what I'm saying is we should all be aware of the butterfly effect, and that when we can make the butterfly effect of our actions a positive thing, we should definitely make the butterfly effect as positive as we can, because that makes the world a better place, not just here, everywhere, further out. I know there's a lot of philosophical problems with my statement. Well, what if your positive action has a negative impact somewhere? I can't control that. That's what I'm saying. All I can do is control what's going on in my vicinity, my world, what's orbiting around me, you know? Meanwhile, I'm orbiting around these other people, and they're doing either good or bad things, or nothing. You know, this is all interconnected. But if we're all trying to have a positive impact on the world with our click-throughs, whether it's online or face-to-face, smiling with somebody, whatever, the click-throughs of life, the decisions of life, I think that the world will end up being a better place. I think I'll leave it there for tonight, mostly because my voice is starting to crack again. I hope that you guys have a fantastic day. I hope that you go out there and you try to make some positive ripples. That's what I intend to do. I hope you find peace, love, and dream. Until next time, lahitraut.